video that probably was the first video that got my channel any type of views and got me any type of subscribers. For those of you guys who were here from the very, very beginning, you know, the first 50 guys, you guys know I was sitting at probably about only, you know, less than 100 subscribers for about 5-6 months. And then one video in particular that I put out started to get my channel views and subscribers, and that was a video that I made when I came home one night, and my dad was watching the TV, and he said, "Hey, did you hear about that guy that just got killed in our old neighborhood?" And I says, "No, who was that?" He was like, "Some rapper just got killed over there." He's like, "Check it out on the papers." So I looked it up online, and I seen young Pappy had just been killed. Okay, now this is now 2 years ago. You know, it shocked me because I hadn't really seen it coming. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys, I think, didn't see it coming. And this is a neighborhood where I had moved out of about 10 years ago. For those of you guys who don't know, in my late teens, early 20s, I lived at the North Pole. You know what I'm saying? The first block I lived on was over by Hollywood and Broadway. Then after that, I moved up to Morrison, Ashland, okay, and lived there for a few years. Now, this is the block. For those of you guys who don't know, Morrison, Ashland, that's a neighborhood controlled by the insane cutthroat gangsters, a.k.a. Pooh Bear Gang, PBG, okay? And these guys, when I was living there, this block, talking late 90s, this was just GDs. That was all I knew it as, just GDs, Gangster Disciples. And I wasn't really aware of any type of beef between them and any of the other blocks around there who claimed GD. Back when I was there, I remember, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s, it was GDs on Stones, GDs versus Latin Kings. They were always beefing with the Kings over on Clark Street. They were beefing with the Ashland Vikings, who were up there at the time, the Rassas, the Eagles, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the Hispanic gangs. But their main beef was with the Moes at that time. Now, Moes were, you know, in several blocks on the North Pole at that time, but I wasn't too aware of any beef that was GD on GD. I moved out of there, okay, in the early 2000s, and when I came back, I became aware that the GDs from the block where I had lived, Morrison, Ashland, now had a war with the GDs over on Howard Street and with the GDs over on Thorndale. Now, the GDs over on Thorndale are known as Day Day World. For those of you guys, I'm giving this information again. I know that you guys who have been with my channel for a while already have heard all this, but I'm expecting on this video I might get viewers that are not long-time subscribers to my channel and aren't familiar with these Northside gangs. So over on Thorndale is a set of GDs called Day Day World. Yep. And over on Howard Street, you got another set of GDs who also have a few other members of some other gangs in there called Loke City, Loyalty Over Cash, Gangster Disciples. I've got several interviews with them, and they're members on my channel, okay? Now, PBG, that was the block where I had lived, Morrison, Ashland. They're like Morrison, Ashland, and like Farwell and Ashland. The gun line, you know what I'm saying, is probably Jarvis. You know what I'm saying? You go up a couple blocks north of there, Jarvis is like the gun line, and then you cross over into the territory of the Howard Street LOC GDs, okay? And, you know, when I had heard that young Pappy had been killed, I didn't really know who had done it. But then, later I was contacted by a member of a gang called the Four Corner Hustlers, and they have a block over in Uptown, off of Hazel Avenue in Sunnyside. Now, Uptown, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with Chicago, that's another neighborhood on the North Pole. This is the far north end of the city, but, you know, several blocks south of Rogers Park, where PBG and LOC are. Now, I had heard from this guy that it was actually them. It was actually Hazel Mob, you know what I'm saying, Will 4 Mob, the Four Corner Hustlers from Hazel and Sunnyside that had killed young Pappy. And at that time, I wasn't sure whether to believe it or not, but as I heard the streets talk more and more, I became aware that they were the ones that had done it. Okay? And I've actually, at this point now, too, heard a name. Okay, unfortunately, though, people have asked me why I can't say who killed young Pappy. If I said that, that would burn several bridges that I need for information. I get this question all the time. Why can't I say who killed young Pappy? It would burn several bridges that I need for information with some guys in the streets up there. And also, one of the guys who told me the name of the guy who killed young Pappy, actually, he didn't tell me. He told somebody else who told me. He's now locked up, and I can't talk to him right now. I can write him, but the police would read it. So the guy who killed young Pappy, if that information is correct, is currently out on the street still and living in Uptown, okay? And I'm not going to say any clues that would allow you guys to know who he is, but I will say this. Young Pappy had provoked this man to the extreme. Young Pappy talked a lot of trash. And young Pappy talked trash, daring and provoking this man repeatedly about someone who he deeply, deeply loved and cared about, that PBG had killed, okay? And young Pappy was taunting this man regarding this man, this loved one of his death, all right? And it was only after repeated provocation that this man finally killed young Pappy. Now, one of the questions that people have is, how did this guy know young Pappy's location? How was he tipped off about this? Because what had happened was that young Pappy was supposed to open for Twista, okay? But young Pappy had gotten locked up for something minor. It was just, he just been taken down to the, we're not even talking down to the county, just down to the precinct or whatever. And Twista had bailed him out so that he could open for his show. And young Pappy was over on Lawrence and Kenmore, okay, on that night, on that fateful night when somebody, he was with a member of Hooligan, and I believe with somebody else too. And it sparked rumors that this guy that he was with was the guy who had given his location. That's not true. That's not true. Something that's even the streets don't know. There's a secret going on here of how young Pappy's location was known that even the streets don't know. And it's something that I can't put out there, and I'm not even going to give my reasons to why I can't put it out there, just to know that several people would be killed if I put it out there. But young Pappy's location was given to this member of Lil Four Mob, and this guy knew that the information was reliable and he was going to be able to go there and kill young Pappy without any hindrance. So he did that job, okay, and since then, you know, it's been totally quiet on the part of Lil Four Mob. For those of you guys who don't know anything about Lil Four Mob, it's the most organized and old school gang on the north side. And by old school, I mean they still have structure and they still got big homies who take orders and they still live by the code fully, okay? Most guys today in Chicago, they live by the don't snitch code, but they don't live by the code of you keep silent about murders that you've done. That's part of the code too. And most guys in Chicago, all right, most of the gangs at the North Pole now, after they commit a murder, they woof about it as much as they can all over social media, in songs. They talk about, we smoking on this guy, we smoking on that guy. They're very vocal about stuff that they've done. Lil Four Mob is not like that. These guys are an exception to that rule. They stick to the code that was in place back in the 90s. When you catch a body, you keep absolutely quiet about it. I reached out to the guy who killed young Pappy several times and asked him to do an interview and assured him we're not going to talk about nothing like that. We're not going to mention Pappy. We're not going to talk about nothing like that. He doesn't even want to. Assured him we're not going to talk about nothing like that. We're not going to mention Pappy. We're not going to talk about nothing like that. He doesn't even want to interview. He doesn't even want to be on camera. He doesn't want no publicity, none of that. So that's the way it is now, and it's been totally quiet, and I'm not even sure if PBG knows, okay? Now here's the thing. This beef between Lil Four Mob and PBG goes back, okay? This didn't just start with young Pappy's death. That beef goes back, and PBG had taken members from their side before they took Pappy, and the beef, though, with Lil Four Mob doesn't have as many bodies as the beef with LOC. But this is going to be about the bodies that PBG has caught, and I'm also going to name a few bodies that other gangs have caught on them. And it's also going to be about the entire history and the entire situation up north. It's not just going to be about bodies. For you guys who are just waiting for body counts, that's going to be here and there throughout this video. But I'm going to talk about everything that's going on up north. Basically spilling all the information that I can spill without getting people in trouble. And this is a sensitive situation because not everybody knows everything. For example, PBG Chemo, as I was mentioning in one of my previous videos, one of the bodies that the streets say he has, his ops, the people who were the friends of that guy who he killed, who he allegedly killed, don't know. Okay, I didn't know if they knew or not. I recently found out that they don't know. Okay, that PBG Chemo actually killed, you know what I'm saying, their friend. So I'm not even going to talk about that one particular body. I am going to talk about another body that he's got, though, which the streets are pretty confident that he's the guy who did it. But PBG has a lot of shooters. Pretty much most of their members are shooters, okay, meaning they've let off shots. Not all of their members, though, have bodies. Not all of their members have killed people. That's less than half, okay. Now, one thing that I know you guys are wondering, and I'm going to get to this right at the beginning of the video. You guys are wondering if Young Pappy, the rapper, was a killer. Young Pappy brought attention really to the north side because he had a different rapping style. He rapped kind of offbeat, but he made it work. You know what I'm saying? He actually made it sound better that way. You know what I'm saying? And he had a very unique, eccentric style. He was very passionate, like went really hard on the beat. Almost like yelling, but not in a way that was annoying, in a way that actually, like, you know, hyped you up and stuff like that. And it was typical drill music, drill content. And he talked a lot about bodies that his gang had caught in his videos, okay? And he also talked about the pain of, you know what I'm saying, losing friends. Now, people are going to ask right off the bat, was Young Pappy a killer? Did he have any bodies? The answer to that, guys, is no. And I know you guys are going to immediately jump into the comment section. Before you jump into the comment section right now after you heard that, I'm going to tell you guys that this is confirmed by PBG themselves. Yes, their own members, PBG members, and all of the ops all say the exact same thing. Nobody disagrees with this up north, including PBG, TFG, Hula Gang. None of them disagree with this. You can ask anybody. Young Pappy let off shots. He rode on Howard Street numerous times, shooting at guys trying to score, but he never scored. He never actually dropped anybody. And the block that he rode on the most often was Loke City, Howard Street. Okay, he rode over there all the time, letting off shots, trying to kill guys. He never succeeded in killing anybody. He never scored. Okay, so Young Pappy was a shooter, but not a killer, and I'm letting you guys know that right off the bat. Now, one of the first pieces of drama that I had on this channel, you know what I'm saying, was in a dispute with some of the family members of Pappy about, you know what I'm saying, his reputation after he got killed. And one thing I want to let you guys know, he was a very smart dude. I worked at Young Pappy's high school. Now, I didn't work there at the time that he was there. He was in grammar school when I was working at his high school. That's Sullivan High School off Bosworth, okay, in Rogers Park. It's in PBG's territory, all right? And, you know, when I was working there, like I said, you know, he was just GDs. There wasn't really no PBG over there. Insane Cutthroat. I didn't know them by the name Insane Cutthroats or anything like that. And at that time, guys would throw up the rakes, you know what I'm saying, throw up the fork. Now they throw up the P. You see Young Pappy doing in his videos. He throws up the P for Pooh Bear Gang. Now, Pappy in high school was an excellent student, okay, at first. Now, one of the older guys from PBG who was putting in work all the way back in the 90s for them is a guy by the name of Magic, okay, by the street name of Magic. You hear Bang the Hitter shout him out in a couple videos like Free My Broski Magic. Magic is one of the OGs of PBG, and from what I've heard, he was a shooter, but he didn't have any bodies, from what I know. All right, now, here's the thing, man. Sullivan High School, you know what I'm saying, was a school with a lot of gang conflict. There were drive-bys right on the front lawn of the school. I've told these stories in several of my videos. I'm not going to go into all of them in this video, but this was a school where there were gang fights daily, okay? Drive-bys, shoot guys right out in front of the school. You know, then the next day, brawls in the hallways in retaliation for these shootings, man. I remember one time they sent home every single Latino male student from the school because they were so afraid that gang drama was going to pop off in the lunchroom. Sullivan was a school full of drama. Now, it's quieted down a lot since then. But this is the environment, this is the school where young Pappy was, got involved in gangbanging. All right, now he has a brother, older brother, BU Double, who also raps. BU Double does not have any bodies either. Whether he's a shooter or not, I don't know, but he's not a killer either. All right. Now, before I proceed with the information in this video, there's a lesson to take away from the fact that young Pappy was an excellent student and a very smart student. Okay, young Pappy was intelligent. Normally when you come in there and there's a guy who's got a real, good sense of humor like that, real clever, real witty, that's a smart dude, okay? But the lesson to take away from this is for everybody, not only for parents, for friends, for everybody, the environment that somebody's in, the influences, the people that they're around can totally change them, okay? Because when a guy is a teenager, peer pressure and the cultural pressure and the pressure of the environment becomes the most important thing to most of them. All right, they'll do anything to, not look soft or not look weird in front of their peers. You see what I'm saying? Even totally change their lifestyle and conform to a different lifestyle. So you can have a straight A student who's on the path to success, but if everybody around him is wilding, okay, and fooling around, the implicit pressure there to conform to that can make him totally derail his life and turn from a potential, CEO, doctor, whatever, to turn from that into somebody who's not going to make it to see his 21st birthday because he's going to die because he was dissing gangs, okay? So there's a huge lesson to take away from this. Sullivan was a gang breeding ground, all right? And, everybody got to do their research, like, before they, go to some place like this. We had a lot of kids that lived in that neighborhood that sent their kids, that went to high school out in the suburbs, okay, commuted out to the suburbs, stayed with an auntie, did what they had to do to not have to go there because, it was a place where the influences could turn you into something that you didn't really want to be. So anyways, young Pappy became got involved in this. Now, young Pappy was not from that neighborhood. Okay, this is another thing. Young Pappy was actually from Uptown, all right, from over by Lawrence and Kenmore. And that's the neighborhood of a gang called TFG. All right, now TFG was also GDs, clicked up with PBG. All right, now here's the thing. Recently, the relationship between PBG and TFG has become frosty. I know several TFG members, okay, personally. And the relationship is not good. They're not beefing. They're definitely not sending shots. But to say that TFG and PBG are clicked up at this point would probably not be true. All right, young Pappy would shout on his songs PBG and TFG together like they're the same thing. A lot of people even think that they're the same gang. They're not. TFG is from Lawrence and Kenmore. PBG is from Farwell and Ashland, Morrison Ashland. I could look out the window of my apartment and see the block where they used to hang out. Now, one of the other gangs that PBG was clicked up with was a gang called Hula Gang over on Wilson and Magnolia in Uptown. This is just a couple blocks west of where Little Four Mob is located. Now, just as a side note, Little Four Mob is named after a guy named Lil Fo. His real government name was Isaiah Moore. Hula Gang, like I said, is just a couple blocks. They're actually right next to Truman College, okay? And this is one of the things that shocked me the most when I came back on the block like 10 years later, because I didn't, back when I was there, the GDs and the Stones all used to beef. There weren't no Stones getting along with no GDs. But these Stones, these black Stones from Wilson and Magnolia, Hula Gang, was clicked up with PBG. Now, recently, several months ago, that alliance, that team of PBG and Hula Gang fell apart. They were together in Zach TV's interview of Hula Gang and PBG. You had, Savage Sheen out there and BU Double out there and PBG Lucci out there with some of the Moes, with some of the Black Stones over in Hula Gang's hood. Okay, that's actually where the interview started. It was over in Hula Gang's hood. They're now beefing, and the reason why I wouldn't say beefing, but they're not clicked up anymore. And the reason why they're not clicked up anymore is because there was a member of TFG named King Shooter, who himself was a killer. And they were at the funeral of another gang member who I believe it was TFG Midnight's funeral. TFG member by the name of Midnight. They were at his funeral. Now, this funeral was being held down, all the way down on the far south side of Chicago in the hundreds. And something happened there. Some disagreement, some, I don't know, argument broke out between some members of PBG and some members of TFG and some members of Hula Gang. And King Shooter, who was PBG Chemo's, like, personal homie, like, good friend, King Shooter, during the course of this altercation, was shot and killed. A guy named High City Rico from Hula Gang was also shot but not killed. Alright? And ever since then, PBG and Hula Gang have been beefing as well as TFG because, you know what I'm saying, the Moes were the ones that killed King Shooter. You know, when I first heard that King Shooter got killed, I was thinking it was, you know, the ops or somebody that he knew or something like that. It wasn't. It was a gang that his gang was clicked up with. And TFG, PBG, Hula Gang, they were all together. Now they're all separate. Now there's another gang that they were clicked up with called OTE, and this is only the end. And the end, when they say that, that refers to the Cabrini Green row houses. Now this is on the site of the old Cabrini Green housing projects. When they tore those down, they had some low-income housing for some of the residents that they put up there, called the Cabrini Green row houses. And these are also GDs. How they came to be clicked up with PBG, I'm not sure, but OTE and PBG, I believe to this day, are still clicked up. Several of PBG's videos were shot over on OTE's territory, and I believe one of the other Zach TV interviews with PBG Chemo was shot at a location in OTE's neighborhood. But so they're the only two that I believe are still together. TFG and Hula Gang have been separated, and it all started because of King Shooter's murder. Now, who killed King Shooter, I actually don't know. Which one of the Moes did that, I'm not sure. King Shooter was TFG. I'm not going to talk about the TFG killers in this video. That's possibly for another video. Getting on to some of the guys from PBG that are putting work in the streets. So, PBG is named after a guy named Pooh Bear, okay? That was his street name. And now he was called Pooh Bear because, you know, I don't know, the way he looked or something like that. But this guy Pooh Bear, somehow the reputation has gotten out and the rumor has gotten out to the general public, I guess maybe because of Young Pappy's music or something, that Pooh Bear was not really a gang member, that he was like this innocent guy who just knew Young Pappy and his friends and got killed. Okay, this is false. Okay, everybody who's from our old neighborhood knows that Pooh Bear himself was a killer with multiple bodies. Okay, and he does not look like it at all. This is one thing that one lesson that you cannot judge from appearances. Because Pooh Bear looked like, you know, the guy who's in class who just likes to play video games all day or something like that. I mean, he does not look like what he was, which was a killer. Now, his bodies were not from any of the ops at the North Pole, from what I heard, that he had multiple bodies from Evanston. The lowest number that I've heard is 2, and the highest number that I've heard is 4. I doubt that he had 4, but he had, I've heard, at least 2 bodies from Evanston. Okay, now in Evanston, for those of you guys who don't know, this is a suburb just to the north of the North Pole, okay, and there's a couple sets in Evanston. One is called ABM, and they're into it with another set called Slutty Boys. Now, I don't know anything about the suburban gangs. I don't know what blocks they have or, you know, exactly, you know, why they're beefing or who their killers are. I don't know any of that stuff. Okay, but what I do know is that Pooh Bear was killed by a guy from Loke City. He was not killed by one of the Evanston sets that he apparently caught a body on. He was killed by a guy from Loke City named Munchie, okay? Now, Munchie, you know, this is his street name. Munchie was Loke City's main killer, I would say. I would say he was the guy from Loke City who had, like, the most bodies from there. I think he had 4, okay? And Pooh Bear was one of the guys that he killed. Now, Pooh Bear was only 15 when he was killed. I think this is one of the reasons why people think that he was innocent. But Glenford Johnson, street name Munchie, killed him on the same block over, I believe, on Juneway off Howard Street, where he eventually himself would be killed. Munchie eventually would be killed, okay? Now, this is one of the murders for this video that that was causing me to delay releasing this video. Because to this day, even the streets really don't know who killed Munchie, okay? Now, there's stuff that people say that they're pretty sure of, but there's nobody that I know of up at the North Pole who says that, yeah, I was with Munchie and I saw the shooter's face. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you guys. I know that a lot of you guys who are, you know, longtime subscribers of my channel are going to say that young Pappy killed Munchie, right? Because in the way that he talked about it in his music made it sound like he was Munchie's killer. Now, I'm not going to argue with you guys about this in this video because I've released several other videos reiterating that Pappy had not killed Munchie. And I know you guys probably, by this point in the video, have already left comments insisting that Pappy was a mass-murdering thug that matched exactly the way he spoke in his lyrics and that Munchie was one of his bodies. It is confirmed by witnesses as well as by young Pappy's family, okay? His younger sister. Young Pappy was down on the south side at the time when Munchie was killed. Now, you guys can say, well, they're all lying. Maybe they're all lying. Maybe the witnesses and young Pappy's family are lying about that. And if that's true, then I could be wrong. But if they're not lying, young Pappy was on the south side when Munchie was killed, okay? And this is coming from his own family. So, but not only that, PBG also, I'm talking about the members who are still alive today, claim that Pappy was not the killer of Munchie. Okay, now here's the thing. They don't say who did kill Munchie, and they claim that their gang killed Munchie. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Again, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to say what my position is. What I'm going to tell you is this. Everybody else on the North Pole, from the foes to LOC to everybody else, claims that the guys who killed Munchie, Glenford Johnson, was a neighborhood from Evanston, that suburb to the north of Chicago, called Taytown, okay? And that Munchie was killed because of a personal disagreement with some of these guys over money. That they rolled up on Munchie and asked for some money back that he had borrowed from them, and that Munchie started laughing and trying to joke it off, and that they pulled out a gun and shot him, okay? This is what everybody else claims, that Taytown was the ones that killed Munchie, and that this is why Loke City beefs with Taytown till today, because of Munchie's death. This is what everybody else says. Now, PBG doesn't say that, okay? PBG claims that they killed Munchie. And one thing that I will say about PBG, they don't claim, they're not really known for claiming bodies that they didn't catch, except if it was from a gang that they were clicked up with. Okay, so you have some guys in Chicago who, you know, some guy will, you know, get killed by somebody that they don't even know or have anything to do with, and they'll start claiming this guy's body, okay? Or they won't dispel the rumors that they were the ones that did it. This is why you have, you know, people thinking that Fredo Santana killed JoJo and all this kind of stuff. It's not even close to true. You know what I'm saying? Or that D-Rose killed Tuca. You know, stuff that's just totally false. Pappy, he was on the south side at the time. It wasn't him. PBG even says that it wasn't him. Now, here's the thing. Young Pappy had an older homie named Bang the Hitta, okay? With whom you guys who have been with my channel for a while know that I've had personal beef, okay? Bang the Hitta is about 5 years older than Pappy, all right? He's a Jamaican guy, all right, from Rogers Park. And Bang the Hitta, real name Keith Hare, that's his government name, who just recently got released from jail. He's one of PBG's top shooters. Now, here's the thing. One of PBG's top shooters. Now, here's the thing. He has a reputation for having bodies, okay? He has a reputation for this on the streets, like... He has a reputation on the streets as being like one of PBG's top savages. The problem is, nobody knows what bodies he's got. Nobody can name anything, all right? But one thing that I will say about Munchie's murder, if it wasn't Taytown, if PBG is telling the truth, then one thing I'll say about it is this, because there's an event that took place after Munchie's death, which makes the whole situation very suspicious. Bang the Hitter's car was set on fire the day after Munchie was killed. And Chicago police investigated this and found that the fire was set intentionally. Now, when I first heard this, I thought that Bang the Hitter maybe had set his own car on fire, maybe to destroy evidence, okay? He might have, the car might have been seen on video camera, or, somebody might have seen the car driving in the area, a witness, and he may have, lit this car on fire to make it unrecognizable to people, try to destroy the vehicle. But this is not true. That fire was set by a member of Loke City named Vonnie. This is what I later found out. Vonnie set that fire and burned Bang the Hitter's car the day after Munchie was killed. Now, Vonnie has just recently been killed by PBG. He was killed by them a few months ago, and the shooter of Vonnie, I've heard a name, but some of the guys who originally told me that name now are saying that they don't know. So I'm not going to say anything about who specifically killed Vonnie, but it was PBG. That's all I know. Now, Vonnie was known as a guy who really wasn't about that life, even from his own guys. Okay, this is why the fact that he set Bang's car on fire, this is why it makes it very suspicious. Okay, if Vonnie had been like one of these, out here in the streets wilding gang members, then it would be like, to me, it would be like, well, he was just trying to do this to Bang because of what Bang claimed. But Vonnie was kind of like known as kind of a square, who wasn't really in the streets and who wasn't really an official like Blake Block member. He was just, and by the way, I haven't said this yet in the video, Blake Block, that's another name for Loke City. He wasn't really like with it, okay? So the fact that he set Bang's car on fire leads me to believe that he may have known something that we don't and taken a secret to the grave with him about exactly who killed Munchie. And the fact that he did it the day after Munchie was killed, I don't think is a coincidence. So, I'm not saying that Bang is the one who killed Munchie, but I'll say this, it wouldn't surprise me, okay? Now, there's no evidence, though, that he did that, okay? And everybody else on the North Pole says it was Taytown. And, these are not guys who are trying to take away credit from Bang. I know you guys are thinking, well, they just don't want to give PBG the credit for that. If you talk to guys on the North Pole, they'll all admit that Bang is a real-ass savage, okay, and a real shooter. Bang shot one person that I know of, but didn't kill him. And he shot the relative of young Pappy's girlfriend because the guy was from Howard Street, and Bang thought that he was an op, but he wasn't. Bang actually put a bullet in him, but didn't kill him. Bang is really about that life. He's done a lot of stuff in the streets, and a lot of guys, he's a guy who's let off shots frequently. However, no one can name bodies that he's got. And, it's possible that he was the killer of Munchie. However, everybody else, like I said it was Taytown. So that's how that goes. But PBG claims that they killed Munchie to this day. Now, that may be because they were getting along with the guys who did kill Munchie at the time. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, I mentioned just previously that Blake Block is another name for Loke City. Blake was a member from over there who was killed by a guy named PBG Spaz, real name Jermel Dawsey. And this happened when Spaz was very young. I believe he was either like 14 or 15 when he killed Blake. PBG Spaz is one of PBG's top hitters, and PBG Spaz is currently locked up for murder because he killed a guy named AJ. The reason why he killed AJ was because AJ was dissing young Pappy on Facebook. Okay, and Spaz killed AJ next to a grammar school off Howard Street that you guys have seen in numerous videos of mine. Now, Spaz did this, okay, there's numerous police security cameras over there, and he did this while, like, kids were out there at recess and everything. Everybody heard the shots. And if you ask me, he doesn't have a real good chance of getting off of this because, just the fact that he did it next to kids. The kids weren't, like, standing right next to where he was shooting, but they were, like, off in the field next to where he was shooting. Okay, and so, that's what he did. So he has two bodies, AJ and also Blake's. Now, here's the interesting thing that I want everybody to know. This is a guy who, caught bodies for PBG. When Spaz went to jail, as many people do, he became very disillusioned with the quote-unquote love that he got from his gang, okay? Because when he's sitting in that cell, he realized now he's all alone, okay? And life is going on without him on the outside, and he kind of dawned on him that nobody really cares about him as much as he thought. I don't know, he might be getting letters or something on his books, but he said in jail that he feels forgotten, okay? Now, this is another lesson that I want all you shorties to take away. Because you catch a body for your gang, you get all these props, you get all this respect. And you need to know that as soon as you get out of sight, you're going to be out of mind, okay? And they might still mention your name in songs for clout, maybe, or, just, they might actually miss you, they might actually want to see you. But whether they miss you or whether they really care about you or not is irrelevant, because they asked you to do something. They expected you to do something for them. And now you're sitting there all alone, and they can't be there for you, okay? Even if they wanted to, they can't be there for you. A lot of dudes, they do stuff to get stripes, you know what I'm saying, get a name with the homies, but, it's like I was saying in my D-Rose video, what those stripes actually are, in reality, is just a thought that exists in somebody else's mind, you know what I'm saying? This is just an idea that the hood or the homies have about you in somebody else's mind. I've fallen, victim to the same trap, you know what I'm saying, the same mental deception, you know what I'm saying, trying to get a name with somebody else, trying to get stripes with somebody else, and finally realize this ain't nothing but a thought that exists in their mind. And then when you're in that cell, you know what I'm saying, and they ain't around you, that becomes worthless. This is the disillusionment and the disappointment that a lot of guys get from the gang life, okay, because you make this sacrifice for them, and in the end, it ends up screwing you. Not them, okay? It ends up screwing you. Well, possibly and them eventually, but you see what I'm saying? Spaz has specifically said this, okay, that he feels forgotten, alone. Now, he isn't forgotten. I mean, guys from PBG have, written him and sent him money and stuff like that, but this is how guys feel when they get in that cell, okay? All alone, man. So just remember that, you know what I'm saying, before you put in work for somebody that you think, is going to be there for you. Because they can't be there for you when you're in that cell. But anyways, Spaz has two bodies. Now, PBG's top killer, all right, is a guy named Lil Sean Randall. And I've done videos specifically on this guy, but I haven't talked about his bodies. The lowest number that I've heard for bodies that Lil Sean has is 3, and the highest that I've heard is 5. But Lil Sean killed a guy at a car wash across from a White Castle over by Ridge, and like where Clark diverges from Ridge, over by Sen High School. This guy was a member of the Kill Award GDs who lived up north. Okay, Kill Award GDs, they're all the way out south, down on 79th, but 78th, 79th, but this guy was living up north, and Lil Sean had some type of personal beef with him. This guy's name was Vaughn, and Lil Sean killed him, all right, at the car wash up there. Okay, off of Clark and Ridge. Now, exactly what their personal beef was or their personal disagreement, I don't know, but Lil Sean, that's one of Lil Sean's bodies, definitely. Another guy that Lil Sean killed was a guy named Valen Francis from Loke City. Now, this is the only body that I've talked about him having so far on this channel. Lil Sean allegedly shot Valen Francis in front of his fiancée and kids over on Arthur and Damon, which is a location that I've showed you guys in my videos. I went there at night, and Lil Sean allegedly, rode up on a bike with his hoodie pulled tight over his face, walked up to Valen Francis and shot him in front of his kids. Now, he was ID'd by a witness. However, that witness since has not come to any of the court dates and has been uncooperative. This is the fiancée of Valen Francis, okay? They allegedly recognized Lil Sean and tried to get their kids inside because they recognized that Lil Sean was dangerous. And he is dangerous. He's one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous member of PBG. Because another guy that dangerous, if not the most dangerous member of PBG. Because another guy that Lil Sean killed was a clerk at a cigarette store. And this guy was not the intended target. Lil Sean was at a cigarette store up on the North Pole, and he spotted an op named E-Man. And Lil Sean pulled out his gun and tried to shoot E-Man. But E-Man got away, and instead Lil Sean hit a clerk who worked at a cigarette store and killed him. Now, that incident, I believe, is what brought the heat down on Lil Sean, because the police didn't have enough evidence to convict him for that. Okay, but, you know, when he killed Val and Francis, that kind of gave them their opportunity. Now, some people believe that Lil Sean has a chance to beat this case. I originally had heard that, you know, the case against him was completely falling apart, which was true. This was last summer. And, you know, everybody, even his ops, were predicting that he was going to get out by the end of the summer. However, new evidence has been found against him since then, because the cops don't want to let Lil Sean go. Lil Sean is one of the most dangerous guys on the north side, and they know that if he gets back out on the street, he's probably going to catch more bodies. Because Lil Sean is just he's a shoot-on-sight type of dude, man. He's not a guy that plays around. And you wouldn't think this about him, because, again, guys judge by appearances, and Lil Sean is like a kind of a joking guy who's, you know, sounds like a really nice guy, and he is. He is a really nice guy, like, really good personality, but he's quick to pull out a gun and shoot. And, you know, again, he's another guy now, though, who's sitting in a cell all alone, where his homies can't be with him, for stuff that he did for his homies who were dead, okay, in their memory. It did nothing for them. They're dead. They're not feeling anything. And it did nothing for him except put him in a cell all alone, where nobody can do nothing for him either. So Lil Sean is PBG's top killer, but he's locked up facing murder. Now, another guy, like I said, Bang the Hit, he's one of their other top shooters. Another guy who's a shooter for them, but not a killer, is Lucci, PBG Lucci. He doesn't have any bodies, but he lets off shots. Another guy's a guy named D-Mac and a guy named DJ. Okay, these guys are shooters, but not killers. Now, another guy for PBG who's a killer is PBG Chemo. Now, PBG Chemo, real name Rakeem Day, he's one of the most, I would say, intelligent members of PBG, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, he's in that environment. A guy who's really about that savage life that he raps about. Now, this is a guy who's very active on social media, particularly woofing back and forth with the Loke City GDs. A lot of people have said, you know, he shouldn't be woofing about murders that his gang has done and stuff like that, and that's true, but you got to realize, like, coming up in that environment, in that culture, you know what I'm saying, by culture I mean gang culture, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of like a normal thing to do, and, you know, I'm not excusing it, but PBG Chemo's a smart guy, because he's got a music career going that he's really trying to get, take off with. But back on May 8th, okay, of 2016, there was a 35-year-old member of the Loke City GDs named Keon Lewis, right? And he was riding in a vehicle on Lakeshore Drive, which is like the semi-expressway that runs along Chicago's lakefront, early on a Sunday morning on the north side. And officers responded at 5:08 a.m. to a crash in the northbound lanes near Foster, and found the 35-year-old Lewis in the back seat with a gunshot wound to the lower back. This was according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. He was taken to Advocate, Illinois Masonic Medical Center, where he died at 5:46 a.m., and his home address was unknown. Lewis was riding in the car with two other people when another vehicle pulled alongside them, and someone inside opened fire, authorities said. He was the only person shot. Now, police have never discovered who the shooter was that killed Keon Lewis, and it's actually doubtful that Keon died of the bullet wound. He most likely died of the crash. But, you know, the police have never found who the shooter was. However, the streets have been saying ever since this incident that the shooter was PBG Chemo, Rakeem Day, okay? Now, again, that's just what the streets say. However, Chemo has a reputation as a killer from his own gang. All right, his own gang will not deny that he has bodies. And that's the only one, that's the one that I'm the most sure about. The other one, I'm not sure enough about it to say it in this video, if he even has another one. But he may have others too. But PBG Chemo is a shooter. Lil Sean, you know, in his song with Pappy said, we don't sneak this on computers. We just send Lil Chemo to do ya, okay? So Chemo was, you know, day one homies with Pappy and Lil Sean. He was homies with King Shooter. He's lost a lot of dudes. And like everybody else, you know what I'm saying, out there getting revenge. However, this guy Keon, I'm not exactly sure why he was targeted, because he wasn't really in their age range and really wasn't part of their beef. This guy was, you know, a good 15, 16 years older than they were. PBG Chemo's about 21 now, okay, and he also has a baby boy. And after he had his baby boy, I noticed that his attitude about this whole thing changed significantly. He's now trying to make it in music, okay, and he's trying to make a way out and just get money. However, he's one of these guys who will, you know, be quick to up the pole in a situation where he sees an op, and that makes it dangerous for him to be out there as well. But, you know, one thing I'll say about Chemo is that he does see, like, the foolishness of this never-ending cycle of back and forth. And he's said that in videos. And he also, you know, like when there was that incident that I'm sure most of you guys have already heard of, when a guy claiming PBG by the street name of Hothead was torturing a mentally disabled white teenager on Facebook. PBG Chemo was one of the guys to come out and denounce this, alright? Now, a lot of people, you know, in the black community were criticizing him for denouncing it because they said, you're out here bragging about killing other black people, but you come to the defense of this white kid. One thing that I'll say about that, I think if this white kid had killed his homies, I don't think he would have had any problem with killing that white kid, okay? I think the reason why he was, you know, denouncing what PBG Hothead did to the white kid was because this white kid was not involved in the streets, okay? And there's kind of a rule that they still follow, and Bang, too, I will say this, that, you know, you should not target civilians and do anything to civilians. Just leave civilians out of it. Stick to who chose this life, okay? So Chemo has a chance really to make it, okay, if he concentrates on the music and not streets. He has a chance to really actually get on with this. Because some of his music is actually good, okay? Same thing with Bang, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is a guy with Bang and with PBG Lucci that recently, in recent months, I've had personal beef with, and I'm going to tell you guys why. The reason why we have beef goes back almost to the beginning of my channel, and this is really unfortunate. When I started doing some videos about the North Pole gang war, and I wasn't naming bodies, I wasn't saying, you know, who did what. The only body that I really talked about was when Lil Sean killed Val and Francis, but that was all over the papers. I mean, that was in the mainstream media. That wasn't like me saying anything like top secret or anything like that. So I was saying that, and some members of TFG, actually one member of TFG, and a couple people who were friends with PBG but weren't PBG members themselves, who I'm not going to name, started sending me death threats, you know what I'm saying? And I knew they were legit. It wasn't fake accounts because I knew them. I actually saw one of them in person the very next day after he sent me a death threat. I saw him over on Thorndale. These were real accounts, and they were sending me death threats saying that, you know, I needed to stop talking about the North Pole's inside street business, okay? Now, you know, they were just talking about me naming, like, you know, what gangs were on what blocks and stuff like that. They didn't want me saying none of that stuff, and they didn't want me saying, you know, who were members of what gangs and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I didn't care, and I kept on saying the same stuff. Now, at the same time that this was going on, at this time, Bang the Hitter was locked up, okay? And at the same time that this was going on, there were other members of PBG who were actually reaching out to me to post their music on my channel. And I did that for some of them, okay? And, you know, it was actually at this time that we were actually going to do an interview and like a documentary about Young Pappy's life with Young Pappy's manager and some members of PBG who were cooperating with us. At the time, we were going to do this, and we were still on good terms with some of them. But at the same time, some of the other ones were sending me death threats. But the ones that were sending me death threats weren't actual Pooh Bear Gang members. They were just friends of theirs, okay, who were kind of woofing, saying PBG is going to kill you. All right? Now, because of this, you know, when some of them asked for an interview, I was kind of skeptical that this might be a setup because, again, their friends had been woofing at me that they were going to kill me. So I didn't know what to think. So I didn't do the interview at that point, but we were still going to kill me. So I didn't know what to think. So I didn't do the interview at that point, but we were still going to meet up with BU Double and Pappy's manager and do an interview, and we were going to do some type of a video about Pappy's life, okay, just, you know, something to honor him, okay, for really bringing the spotlight to the north side and all that kind of stuff. So this continued, but what happened was that along the way, I would say clicked up in the YouTube sense with the homie who's now, you know, Isaiah from Chicago Gang TV. Okay, and Chicago Gang TV, now Chiraq TV, he had been posting a lot of videos of PBG and also videos of the Lokes, of LOC. And back then, he wasn't picking a side. He wasn't picking a side between either of them. He was posting their Instagram videos and some songs of theirs. And what he would do is, you know, in the titles of his videos, he would post exactly what the guys in the videos were saying. Now, this wasn't him saying it. He was quoting what the people in the video would be saying. But a lot of people took this the wrong way, and it was really the fans. It really wasn't PBG. It was the fans taking it like he's dissing Young Pappy, or he's dissing the Lokes, or whatever video he would post. The fans would take it like he's actually taking the position of the person in the video, when he wasn't doing that. He was just, you know, posting something from the north side, but the fans kind of blew it up. And when he was posting some stuff from Lil Duke, from Day Day World, and from some of the other, like, Loke City members who were dissing Young Pappy, you know, he would post, like, these Young Pappy disses. People took it as, like, he was against Young Pappy personally, when really he was just trying to give people an inside view of what was going on in the streets on the north side. But a lot of PBG members, like, got wind of this and kind of took it as, like, he's against them, okay? So, at that point, you know what I'm saying, he did start hanging out with some of the Lokes. At the same time, though, he was talking to some PBG members too, but he started hanging out with some of the Lokes and, you know what I'm saying, kind of becoming friends with some of the Lokes. Now, at this point, Bang the Hitter got released from jail, okay? And him and I think, I'm not sure, a couple other dudes from PBG, I'm not sure who, started saying, you know, this guy's with the ops, so he's an op too, okay? And we're gonna whack him if we see him. Now, when they threatened to whack my homie, what I did was I hit them up privately, but I didn't get a response, okay? So then I started posting some of their videos. And I started posting videos of, I actually, let me take that back. Some friends of, I ain't even going to say friends of theirs, but like people from the North Pole, people from the hood, who I'm not going to name, because these are people that are not in gangs, and they're just residents of the North Pole who I knew personally, started telling me, who knew Pooh Bear gang members and knew Hula gang members and stuff like that, who I just talked to, you know, guys who I would not talk about in my videos, like, you know, guys who I get information from who I wouldn't talk about in my videos. They started telling me, like, bro, PBG don't like you, okay, and they don't like your homie, and, you know what I'm saying, they think you be talking too much about the north side, and they really don't like you. Now, this came kind of as a surprise to me, because most guys who are trying to make it in rap love exposure. You know what I'm saying? Anything about them, anything to bring the spotlight to them, they love it. So they started telling me, like, bro, they're trying to whack you. You know what I'm saying? If they see you, they're probably going to be mad at what you're doing. And probably try to, and they're talking about actually whacking you. Okay, so at this point, I still had an interview arranged with BU Double and Pappy's manager. So I still actually, knowing that might be a setup, I actually had called BU Double to do that, but he, at the last second, backed out. Now, this was after he had been shot, okay? And I, to this day, actually don't know who shot BU Double, but, yeah, BU Double had been shot, I believe, 9 times, okay, at the North Pole, but survived, all right? And he's very lucky that he did survive. You know, when I hit him up again, like, I remember, like, I was driving around, I was, like, driving down Lunt, and, like, I kept on calling his manager, and finally they texted me back and said, you know, we're going to have to do this another time. And after that, I didn't hit them back up again. But, you know, at that point, the relationship was kind of frozen over because of what these dudes were telling me. Not PBG themselves directly, but guys who live there, who I'm not going to say who they are, guys who are definitely reliable, who know these guys, were telling me, like, they're looking to whack you. Now, again, this was not all members of PBG. Okay, but at that time, I had to assume that it was all their members because, you know, I can't take that risk. You see what I'm saying? I can't say, well, maybe that's just these guys that are on that and not these guys. Like, if some members of a gang want to whack me, I got to assume all of them do. So that's what I started assuming. Now, actually what it was, not all of them actually did want to whack me, but again, I was assuming that. Now, what I did at that point, I started posting some Facebook videos of PBG. Okay, I started posting a few videos. Now, these were not incriminating videos. They were not like bad videos. They weren't embarrassing, nothing like that. But they were, like, I posted a video when PBG Prince got released from jail and they were celebrating. I posted a video of when they got, when they were at the video shoot with Zach TV. And then I posted a video of Bang the Hitter and PBG Chemo talking about the guy that had gotten killed live on Facebook. Now, that was just kind of like a funny video, and it was an attempt to get their attention, you know what I'm saying, because I was trying to get in contact with them, you know, to find out if what the people were saying about me was really true. Now, Bang, at that point, released this video.
Straight up, off the motherfucking press. I'm tired of these motherfucking news people. I'm tired of you people. I'm tired of you bitches. You motherfuckers got too much motherfucking hands on y'all time. So every time y'all want to watch a motherfucker live, bro, y'all know what the time. I said time on your hands, hand on your time. Bro, y'all know what the fuck I meant though. Bro, stop putting us on the fucking news things, bro. For motherfucker, put your ass on the news thing, bro. For real. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. My live almost went out. Hold on. What's up, gang? On real, hold on. Whoa, fuck, man. On real, you fucking news reporters, smoke your bitch ass. You come your ass over this motherfucking Robert Park, trying to document a motherfucker, and I got a motherfucking thing for your motherfucking ass, bitch. On real, yeah, we was on live talking about that shit. So what, bitch? I'm put a motherfucker on motherfucking pay. Bitch, let me get paid for this shit at least. What the fuck? I'm tired of you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers making money and motherfucking mockery off the motherfucking game. Bitch, this shit is for fucking real. This shit ain't for no motherfucking play.
Put that shit up there.
That's what I'm talking about. Dudes from Chicago News, we gonna smack the fuck out you. We gonna choke a book out your ass. We gonna stomp your motherfucking ass. We gonna start your bitch. We gonna rob you and take the camera. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, you working sin? Bitch, stop playing with me on my mama. Stop putting me in your shit. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Stop putting me in your shit, bro. Stop putting me in your shit. Lying on me, bro. Lying on me, bro. I don't know nothing about nothing, bro. I'm just a rapper to the news, bro. That's it, that's all, bro. Straight up. Gang them in this bitch with me. They look like, bang, acting a fool. He tied up on that bitch. He said what the fuck he want to say with him. Bro, I just woke up, too. Yeah, so I'm on bullshit. Fuck you talking about. Nosy ass people I don't like. Don't be watching my motherfucking live. Bitch, I'm liable to treat you. On my mama. On my baby, though. I ain't even got no baby. I hope that bitch don't come out with 3 toes. I'm fucked up for saying shit like that, but that's just how I am, because I am Bang.
Okay, now this was the video where, you know, Bang kind of came out with what, again, the people in the streets up north have been telling me they were thinking the whole time. But, you know, Bang finally came out and said it to me on Facebook. Now, at that point, I responded to Bang with a video that I've since deleted. But basically, it was a video where I was threatening to make this video and basically say, you know what I'm saying? I was saying, like, you know, if you guys really want to get on that with me and my homie, I'm not going to ride on you guys. Even though I can find out where you live, I would not do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a street dude. I'm not with it. I'm not about that life. No, none of that stuff. I'm a lame, okay, who makes videos. So, doing what I do, making videos, I was like, if y'all are on that with my homie, then we're gonna do this beef. And I'll basically, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to let y'all whack my homie. So, if you do that, I'll, you know, make it hot as I can up in y'all hood, so that, you know, hopefully y'all will think twice. Because if you whack, you know what I'm saying, my homie, like, if you just come at me, I'm probably not going to do nothing. But if you come, you know, one of my homies now, that's a different story. Because I'll make it so that everybody will know who did it if Shorty does come up missing, basically. Okay, that's what I was on. I was like, you know, if Shorty comes up missing, if Shorty gets shot, I'm going to make sure everybody knows who did it. Now, here's the thing. After that point, you know, they came back then with this video.
See, this bitch ass Chiraq News dude, he's a bitch, G. You feel me?
You don't have to come.
Get off our dick, you bitch
You don't
ass
have
nigga.
to come back 10 more times.
I hope you report
coming
this.
back 30 more times. Fuck
Bitch ass. Mind your fucking business. Stop bringing us up in them stupid ass news report things. Bro, get your lame ass bringing us up in them stupid ass news report things. Bro, get your lame ass on, bro.
Again, bitch, like I said, bitch, it still stand for. They don't know what happened to you, bitch. You don't know what the fuck you goofy bitch. Stop playing with us, you stupid bitch.
White boy, talking about you got information, boy. What you think we don't know you work at scene?
Sir, that is hearsay, sir. They can't lock us up. We would have been in jail, sir. We would have been in jail, sir. We would have been in jail, man. Fuck you, talking about.
Goof ass. And keep Patty name I talking about I know who killed. You don't know shit, boy. You don't know shit that's going on up north. You clown ass nigga. You listen to the police.
Your ass a fan. Fuck you talking about. That's what you really is. Your ass a fan on my homie. He talking about in that video.
I know he did. His clown ass. His ass a goofy.
You know China man.
Fuck. We know you know China man. We know y'all was cool. Fuck. Get the fuck on, boy. I should be going up for no reason. Come on, G. This ain't even that, G. Everybody hopping on my shit. I just came to address dude, bitch ass, G. You feel me? Cause he's a bitch, G. Come online when you in us. I got a video. He's a bitch. Fuck Chiraq News. Fuck all them who work.
Fuck Chicago Gang TV. We on that.
The police, all that. Fuck all them. They all working together. They all buddies in this shit. So fuck all them bitch ass niggas, man.
And fuck all the ops dead on.
I know he finna go ahead. He finna go ahead, copy this video and go ahead post on it like, oh, I gotta get PBG chemo. He didn't have nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah, bro,
he wanna follow
keep my
out the
name
band.
out your mouth, bro. Talking about Lucci now, bro. You don't know me. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah, he do.
No, he don't. You don't know me. You don't know me. Nigga, he talking about Lucci a bitch.
Z-Face up. Face.
Fuck you, dude. You work with dude ass. Fuck. And fuck everybody who's subscribing, dude.
Oh, bro, G. Fuck sharing his shit, G. Motherfuckers be sharing this shit. He not cool. Fuck. No, I'm not being funny, bro. He's not cool. His ass not people's.
He on all the videos, like, we smoking and shit, like, just dick around, bro.
Bitches G Dillo, bitch.
Like, every
What?
video, Pappy, Spaz, me,
Dillo, what?
you, everybody, G. Every video you ever been under, G, this nigga has it, bro.
On my life, he do.
You feel me?
You feel me? Fuck buddy, bitch ass, G.
Y'all talking too much. I don't want everybody to hear anyway. And this is why he doing it to y'all. Putting it on Facebook.
Yeah, we want him to. Put him on now. Put him on now.
I'm not. Hey, get off the live, G.
He talking about, what's up, chemo? Fuck that dude. I fuck with you. Man, I got fans. They gonna bail on my shit regardless. Fuck Buddy. We not even talking about him no more. He ain't say shit about chemo. Fuck is wrong with you?
Get the fuck off live, G. Fuck is you on Facebook? He just told you why he finna trick on y'all, cause he seen what you said on the book.
Uh-huh. Tell him come and find me. I'm never hiding.
What, with the police? Bitch, they gonna
Tell the police come and find me. I'm never hiding.
Bro, what information he have that they don't know?
tips, bitch. Why would you want tips on you?
G, on my
Why
mama.
you don't want
Back to what you
your ass,
said.
bitch?
When he don't know that the police don't know, G. Hold the phone. When he don't know that they don't know.
Exactly.
Think about it though, G. They have. No, they got. Oh shit. I'm gonna laugh.
Okay. Now here's the thing. So Bang and Lucci were kind of woofing at me in this video. Now Chemo, he was kind of just taking their side. He wasn't really like I didn't mention him in the video, so it wasn't really nothing between me and him. So after that, you know, me and him talked privately on Facebook, and I said, you know, look, this is really just about the fact they threatened to kill my homie Isaiah. I said, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even care about none of this. I said, so, you know, I see y'all trying to do y'all thing with the music, but let's just squash this. And he said, that's fine, man. We just don't want negative attention. You know, we're just going to squash it and forget about this. So we did that. Now, here's the thing. Bang got locked up shortly after that. And many people started blaming me for the fact that he had gotten locked up. They thought that I had told 12 about him. That's totally false. He got locked up for, I think, a gun or something like that. So he got locked up for several months. Okay, then, you know, a couple months ago, like a month and a half, a couple months ago, he got released again. Now, while he was locked up, everything was cool. Everything was quiet. I wasn't really making any videos about PBG. I was living up to my end of what I had told Chemo I was going to do, and just basically leave them alone. That's what I was doing. Bane got released again, okay, and since then he FaceTimed my homie several more times, basically getting right back on the same stuff. We gonna kill you, you know what I'm saying? And also he had made a Facebook post like to me saying, because after I started interviewing the Lokes, he was like, and bear in mind, like, me interviewing the Lokes is strictly like music business. Okay, this was like music business stuff. So he said, since y'all are, rocking with our ops now, y'all can die with them. You know what I'm saying? We see you, we're gonna whack you, blah, blah, blah. So my homie, you know what I'm saying, Isaiah, he's getting on FaceTime with them, basically trying to figure out what's going on, and they started woofing at him, we gonna kill you, you a goofy, you know what I'm saying, we see you, we're gonna whack your ass. So at that point, that was when I said, all right, I've been still covering the north side, but like at this point, I'm actually really on the side of the people who are cooperating and not woofing at me. Because see, I was doing the same thing in the beginning when I was talking about the north side. I was talking about the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And PBG was, not the whole PBG, but like certain members of PBG were on that with me, like, we're gonna kill you because you're talking about our hood. But the Lokes and Day World, they weren't on that. When we talked to them, they said, hey man, get your money, you know what I'm saying? That's your hustle. You talking about, this, that's what you do, that's what you do. And they didn't have any problem with it. So it wasn't really me taking their side. It wasn't me choosing a side. Like, they took my side. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just went with whoever was cool. You see what I'm saying? And the people that were tripping, it's like, I can't be cool with somebody who don't want to be cool. I was trying to promote people, okay, to make it musically. But this whole thing is a shame because Chemo and Bane could really make it in this music thing. Because you guys know for a fact, dudes ain't going to care that he's got a son, and dudes will even shoot through his son because, hopefully he ain't riding around with his baby. I really hope that dudes don't do that. FBG Duck was just talking about that in an interview the other day. He don't ride around with his kids because he don't want to make them suffer for what, what he's involved in. So now I had done a video after about 6 months on my channel. I did a video about a rapper named KP LaShore, government named Kino Glass, who was a member of LOC, who had been killed. And I didn't say who killed him in that video. He was only 16 when he got killed. In my interview with Ken Ben from Loke City, he was personal homies with Kino. They call it Kino World over there too, after he had been killed. Kino Glass was originally from the west side of Chicago, but had moved over to the Rogers Park area and had attended Senn High School actually at the same time that I was working there. Kino Glass, you guys, it's kind of been rumored that he was not really in the streets or anything like that, but Kino was actually, in some instances, getting kind of disrespectful towards PBG, actually really disrespectful, like dissing them and, dropping their stuff and all that kind of stuff. He got killed, okay, we're talking, several years ago now, and again, I didn't say who had killed him in that video that I originally did on him, but the guy who killed Kino Glass was a guy from PBG named Moosey, okay, M-O-S-E-Y, that's his street name. Now, I know you guys have already heard of this guy because PBG, Chemo, and Bang, and all of them, they mention him frequently. He was one of their, like, day one homies, and he was a rapper as well for PBG. He got killed also, okay, over by, right over by his crib, okay, actually. And, the only neighborhood, the only gang territory that was close by to where he was Latin Kings. Okay, I'm talking about like a block proximity, you know what I'm saying? It was Kings over there. But I'm not sure, though, actually who killed Moosey. And I would be surprised if it was the Kings. I don't think it was the Kings. Because I've heard names, but I'm not 100% sure. But PBG Moosey, he's the guy who killed Kino Glass. So PBG Moosey was a killer. One other guy who I know that a lot of you guys have heard in songs by Young Pappy is a guy named Two Cups. Alright, now this is a lesson for all of you guys. Because Two Cups, I believe, was like an African immigrant from East Africa. Okay, and he was like not about that life. He was not with it. But he was homies with, Pappy and some of the members of PBG. And people think that Two Cups was totally, and some of the members of PBG. And people think that Two Cups was totally like not involved in anything. However, Two Cups, because he was homies with them, started to kind of diss rival gangs, and he was dissing the L's. He was dropping L's. People were wondering who actually killed Two Cups. The word on the street is that Two Cups was killed by Lil Duke from Day Day World. Okay, Lil Duke is the one who killed Two Cups, and this is why PBG disses Lil Duke so much and hates him so much. Okay, because Two Cups was like one of Pappy's, day one homies who he really was close to. So anyways, at this point, it's basically a beef. Bang especially is looking to catch Chicago Gang TV or me, over there in that hood. Chicago Gang TV ain't really going to be over there. He stays off in Inglewood, but, I slide through that hood pretty often, man, just because, not because I'm trying to, like, flex on them or nothing. It's because I got to go places, around there. But anyways, man, that's what it is today. It is what it is now, man, It's unfortunate because, they could be making it in the rap game, and where I see this in 5 years, a lot of them locked up or dead. And I could be locked up or dead too. I ain't gonna lie. But I don't have potential in the rap game. I'm doing the only thing I can do right now. I'm gonna still say it. R.I.P. to Young Pappy. And hopefully, man, someday, through whatever means, this gang war in Rogers Park can calm down, man. Because the kids can't walk to school. I mean, it's not a good situation, man. These dudes gotta take special bus routes around the gang territories for after-school programs. I mean, it's a whole bunch of crap going on up north, man, at the North Pole. And this is a neighborhood, really, man, where this is not like what you would expect at all. Because you got, first of all, it's a racially diverse neighborhood, okay, and you got like these, not wealthy people, but it's Rogers Park is the lowest income white area of the city, so it's where the whites who are the lowest income for whites in Chicago live. But still, I mean, it's a lot of job opportunities up there, man. It's a lot of ways to get money legally. Unfortunately, some dudes, in Chicago, that's not praised. If you work a minimum wage job, or if you work some job like, taxi driver or something like that, people don't respect that. People respect hustlers. Even if you make less money hustling than you would make like driving for Uber or something like that, the streets is still respected more, and a lot of dudes do it, so it's messed up, but hopefully these dudes can at some point see that this is not going anywhere, choose to live for their kids, instead of living for themselves. But anyways, man, R.I.P. to Pappy and everybody else that was killed up north in this gang war. Up north, King Shooter, Pooh Bear, Two Cups, from both sides, man, every single person, man, and condolences to all of their homies and family. And this is your boy Chicago News. I'm out.